My name's Scope. I'm a DJ / producer.
I'm J Beats. I'm a 21-year-old grime producer from Enfield, North London.
I've specialised in grime music since as long as I can remember. I think early 2000s, 2002, and since then I've always loved, the genre.
I run my own label, Crown Jewels, also part of MFR Records as well. Yeah, runs about.
As a consumer, I remember my cousin was bringing me, he bought me a TDK tape of audio from a radio show. This is when I first, come into contact with grime, and it was just a tape. I've never heard anything like this before. I was only probably used to things on TV, radio, and then he brought this tape, and I could just hear guys talking about whatever, not in a bad way, but there was a lot of energy behind it.
When did I discover grime? Maybe 2003. I was going to my cousin Carl's house in East London, Walthamstow, and I discovered Nasty Crew Take 'Em Out. It's the first time I ever heard an actual grime tune. Obviously I heard So Solid and all that. That used to gas me, but that was garage, innit? Really, the beats and stuff. But Take 'Em Out, this was okay, this is not garage, this is something else, bro. These men are spitting in some next wave, but this is sick.
It's just, it's just grime.
An expression.
Yeah, an expression more or less, yeah. I consider grime as a word which was put in there by not grime people.
People who I talk to who don't listen to grime or aren't involved in grime whatsoever, when I tell them about grime or whatever, they always say, "Oh man, why is it called grime? Grime is like dirt."
We didn't know what to call it, so someone else labelled it, and the Godfather himself took it upon himself to call it grime and just accepted it. He was widely.
Yeah.
He accepted this is grime, and I don't think it's a dirty word.
You gotta look at it as this, man. These are young kids, people in their early 20s, teenagers, yeah?
Yeah.
They've just picked up the pen, started spitting. What are they gonna talk about? They're gonna talk about what's around them and what they're going through.
There was so much energy in grime tunes, whereas if you've got one track gets played and you've got about 400 people in a room reacting the same to that one track, something's bound to happen.
So if that's a bag of crud from robbing guys, shanking guys, and obviously a lot of it was exaggerated just for hype and reloads or whatever, but this was people's lives. This is what they're around, innit? So naturally they're gonna talk about it.
And club owners didn't like that. It wasn't good for business. Fights were breaking out, someone was getting hurt or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, grime wasn't in decline, it just wasn't allowed in the clubs.
You've got a 696 assessment form,
Yeah.
and you've got Trident and the police. Do you believe that all three as a combination has added towards a decline within the lab element of grime, where the clubbing culture?
Yeah, man. I think that this wasn't 696 form, yeah? I think it's a joke thing, man. Obviously, some of these MCs or whatnot, guys in the scene, they have a past.
There was some authentic MCs out there that are not like that anymore.
Okay.
So I feel even now, there's still these MCs that we're talking about have made money from grime. There's no two ways about it.
Because they're from rough areas. So if a man's got in jail for robbery for 3 years, and then you think your venue or night is going to be at risk because he has a criminal background, I think that's really bad, because obviously they're trying to better their life and make music a living. But if you're trying to just block, man, because of what he done back in the day, and he can't make money now, I think that's really bad.
The MCs would come along, not just host on it and keep the vibe going, but start talking about, when sometimes it's not necessary, sometimes, it sounds funny. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but it does sound, I found it hilarious, some of the things they used to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could influence bad things, and I think that's why people looked at it in a bad way.
People were just getting too gassed, innit? The mosh pits, as soon as that drop, just going off and fights with the curb, because obviously in these mosh pits here, everyone's pushing and kicking each other, whatever. People's crepes are gonna get damaged, drinks are gonna get spilled, emotions is gonna be out there, like, yo blood, like, why you stepping on my crepe? And then from there, it goes into a mad thing.
Today it was too violent, we'll be honest, it was a bit violent, but I don't think grime really played a part in anyone getting, you know, stabbed or anything like that.
Do you think they use it as a sort of scapegoat tool in terms of shutting down black music in a live environment?
Yeah, because it's like, do they do these forms for like drum and bass and house nights? Oh, like, they don't do that, innit?
No.
See, there you go, mate. Like,
In the 1990s, like late 90s, when you had Bad Company, where you had the warehouse raves to a few club residency that allowed drum and bass to pop off, but why is grime still a bad thing when there's 400 people reacting the same way how drum and bass people react, drum and bass, audience within drum and bass would react?
It comes back to what the grime MCs are talking about half the time.
Yeah.
It's how it is.
to be fair, when it happens in grime music, well, I don't know about now, but back then, people didn't know what to do with themselves. They were too gassed, and they naturally was like passive aggressive, innit? So any little reason to snap, people were on it. Whereas I guess in these other genres, they can have a mosh pit, push each other, do anything, yeah, and be trouble free, innit? No one's getting hurt, like, in terms of face to face.
I think it played a massive part because at the time I was still in school.
Yeah.
I wasn't really exposed to this sort of music, and I couldn't go somewhere to hear it. I think the only place I could hear it was on pirate radio.
Yeah.
So I'd run home from school, switch it on, whatever was on at the time, whoever was on, I'd switch it on and listen to it. And you know, that was my only way of listening to this new music. It wasn't called grime at the time.
Yeah.
Even stations like Rinse, like, you can't really go in with the swearing because they've got a community license. And even when Logan had a show on Kiss, you can probably swear a couple times because it's late at night, but you can't do too much because this is a corporate station.
A lot of people have used pirate radios, like, you know, pirate radio stations to help their career take off. So it's like working from underground, working your way up overground to, you know, the mainstream masses.
So you got a t-shirt, I'm a grime kid. But what is a grime kid?
A grime kid. Oh mate, what is a grime kid? That is $1 million question.
To me, grime is and always will be my favourite UK based music. It's a culture, there's a community in it, and it's what I love. I love grime and always will love grime.
I see grime more than music. I see it like a culture, from the way we dress, the way we speak.
Yeah.
Like, dunno man, like, obviously I'm a grime enthusiastic guy, and I love grime, like, that is my bread and butter.
I think with grime, it's not how I'm living, it's where I come back to, you know, the authenticness of the flow, the content. There's a way of MCing in grime. I feel certain people, when they hear it, they know, okay, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how I see it anyway.
So obviously, if I'm a grime kid, but if someone, let's say, you got Billy.
Yeah.
And Billy went, who's grime? Or when they ask you who's grime, what's the first thing that comes to your head in terms of producer or MCs?
I'll just probably reel off the bass just to make it easier. So I'll say Wiley, Dizzy Rascal. Obviously, some people start saying, oh, well, they don't really make that type of stuff anymore, but obviously, this is what they're predominantly known for. Even though they went on to do commercial stuff, the netting grime still gets thrown in the mix of things. But yeah, I'll say Wiley, Dizzy, Lethal, Skepta, JME, and producers, who's, well, yeah, like Terror Danger, Da Vinci. If we're talking like a few years back, yeah, Da Vinci, Terror Danger, even Jammer, Wiley again. Yeah, there was so many.
And with, obviously, violent culture played a massive influence within UK garage, two-step and dubstep. Do you believe there seems to be a big correlation between the genres and the sound due to violent culture?
I think with vinyl, because I'm a DJ, I think with vinyl, vinyl will always be vinyl.
Okay.
There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
I think it's really when CDs come out, I think the artists and producers alike just have a different platform to distribute their music.
Yeah.
Not just in the record shops, driving around London, just giving, I don't know, this shop 10 vinyls, that shop 10 vinyls. This time they could actually not stand on the streets, but some of them did do that, but put loads and loads of CDs, you know, burn like about 500 CDs free of charge.
We've found the whole record shops. Do you believe that was the social network for DJs?
Oh, 100%, man. Like, I'll go UDM and I'll see other people dropping records or other people just pre-ing records. Obviously, I'm not from East London, but I've been Rhythm Division a few times when it was open, and you would just see someone like, I don't know, Target or one of these guys who are important guys in the scene. They'll just drop off records, like they will see someone else they know in the shop and start chatting for hours. That, like, Rhythm Division, independence, I'm sure, like a lot of people in the scene come across other people in the scene just from just being around, like dropping records, just talking to people in the shop.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you hear stories about, like with dubstep in Croydon, I can't even remember the shop's name there, like, you know, that's where all those guys met. And I know there were shops out east where all the grime guys would meet up and, you know, sell their stuff on the weekend. And yeah, imagine that a lot of great music came about that way.
And with the whole dubplate culture around grime and garage music, do you feel that seems to have died down within the last couple of years due to the nature of the culture?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's not many DJs left really playing vinyl, even at the top. And so if you're not playing vinyl, you're not playing dubs. I mean, you still get like exclusives and VIPs, but they tend to be, you know, sent as MP3s or WAVs or whatever, and not so many people pressing acetates now. And
there seems to be like a surge within sales of vinyl nowadays within grime music. Do you believe that the way consumers buy vinyl nowadays is due to its exclusivity, or is it just because it's a social norm where people that buy vinyl are considered as cool?
Well, I think that definitely exists, and I think maybe the crowd for grime, people who are buying grime, has changed a bit. There seems to be a kind of real trend for that kind of Wiley 2003 kind of esky sound amongst kind of modern producers. And yeah, maybe it's a different crowd now that's buying those records to play out, and they'll be mixing it with dubstep and maybe even house music and stuff. I think, yeah, it's kind of like people aren't buying kind of one style anymore, and so like the music's reflecting that. It's maybe a guy won't just make a grime track, he's making like 3 or 4 different styles on the same record.
With grime garage being a homegrown sort of culture as well as a sound, do you believe it helped aid the sales within like record shops throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, back then it would have been just in London, I guess, that people would be able to sell those records, and people would have to come to London to get them.
Was it just a British thing, or?
Yeah, I suppose back then, yeah, it was you know, not even British. I mean, it was really just London, and mostly just East London and parts of South London. Not so much with garage, but with grime especially, you know. It would have been a lot harder to get those records anywhere else.
Yeah. And do you believe that social class has impact upon consumers buying records that were garage or grime?
It's a tough question to answer. I suppose in some respects, yeah. I think it's more about the kind of people who are going out to clubs and stuff, and how people kind of perceive that rather than the actual record sales. Because I think, you know, like garage, yeah, it's sold well, but kind of across the board, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to say. Yeah, I guess grime could be portrayed more as a kind of working class or whatever kind of reaction to garage.
And there seems to be like a surge within sales of vinyl nowadays within grime music. Do you believe that the way consumers buy vinyl nowadays is due to its exclusivity, or is it just because it's a social norm where people that buy vinyl are considered as cool?
Well, I think that definitely exists, and I think maybe the crowd for grime, people people who buy grime has changed a bit.
And in terms of grime music, they believe that mixtape culture has had an impact on the evolution of the sound within grime music and how vinyl has been distributed.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the emphasis on production is maybe lessened a bit because people aren't considering it being pressed to vinyl and played in the club. You know, they're just banging out CDRs or whatever, or putting it online. So maybe the quality control's dipped a bit. And yeah, I mean, if you're putting out, say, like 8 tracks or more on a mixtape, you're maybe not going to spend as much time over them as you were like 1 track on a 12, you know?
Yeah. And with your nature around like record shops and the whole vinyl culture, do you believe that the media has had an influence upon the ideologies built within grime music?
I can't really say from like my point of view working in the shop, but I know that like the media and the police has definitely had a negative effect on live like performance of grime, definitely. I don't know how that would affect them selling their records, but it kind of helped, you know.
People might not agree with me, but I believe that grime is on its way back up again.
Yeah.
From the producer side of things, I think the producers are carrying it, the DJs are carrying it. They're sitting down and being okay. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Set up a label, get this producer, get that producer, put their music out, and I'm seeing it like happen.
Grime is very unpredictable. Like 5 years ago, I didn't know it would be in this position now. So 5 years from now, it could be a mad thing. It could be a mad thing.